lot of people describe it as like a training ground, right? It's like, oh, okay, like you're gonna get ready to go to like bigger mountains like somewhere else. I just feel like our terrain forces you to be awake and aware every single day. I love being in the mountains and particularly the skis on my feet and sharing it with other people. Like, it's like really hard to explain. I don't think I can. Like, out of the water or off the mountain, you're like, the best version of you all of a sudden like shows up. That was like very clear to me. I was like, oh, this is who I want to be like day in and day out. 2010, moved back, and my partner Kennesaw, she's like, well, I'm gonna finish up grad school up in Portland, Maine. And I was like, I mean, I knew Maine sort of, but I was like what's Portland? What the fuck? Like, I don't know what like Maine is.
And we were here for like 4 weeks, and I was like, oh, never mind. I got this totally wrong. Because again, like, I mean, that was a while ago now, but I mean, you have surfing right there and another incredible community, and you know, it's like a mountain town without a mountain. Like Mount Washington's an hour and 40 minutes that direction, and so like I came back, I was like, wow, like all ego, all like. But I have this photo at like the top of Hillman's Highway, no helmet, and like easily 6 to 7 inches of fresh snow, and just completely reckless. That's how I met Rich and Marsha, who were the former caretakers of the Harvard cabin.
And Rich, it was like the next day, took me over into Huntington. We went up in a diagonal. This is like second or third time I've ever been in Tucks, Gulf of Slides, anywhere, like had no idea it existed. I remember like coming around the corner and seeing that, and I was like, hold on a second. It's like outer space.
Just heard about this guy that had kind of moved to town and loved to go backcountry skiing, and then, it's a small community, so I just started kind of running into him on the mountain.
I've been doing too much skin and skins lately.
He's doing what he loves to do daily, and it can be exhausting, and he knows that, but the rewards are worth it.
In the winter, I'm an area instructor and guide, and in the summer, off-season, studying clinical mental health, with the goal of becoming a therapist someday. The catalyst to this is certainly my work in the mountains. Yeah, this is a hard one. So, between the ages of 30 and 35, to 5 funerals for 5 people, all of whom were 34 or younger. And there's a variety of incredibly tragic ways to die. And like, if there was a moment where it's like, oh, I need to like be a greater service to my community, like it was like after that. It's a roundabout way, and then I got distracted by the cat. But yeah, it was a lot. It wasn't until going to therapy for a long time, and then not that everything's fixed, but it was a pretty clear like life beforehand, life after.
I've been with Blake for a long time, and there was a really very difficult few years, and what I saw is that the one thing that continued to heal him was going to the mountains.
This particular like degree and process was enticing to me was because I wouldn't have to like fully wipe the slate clean and not be in the mountains. Yeah, working with people, which is really important to me. The winter, I have the absolute pleasure of living in a 1971 Scotty camper. It is, yeah, it's a tin can. It's incredible, but I love it. Found the camper, I think it was in Bucksport. I don't know. It was not that expensive for obvious reasons because it still has leaks in it. I thought I could like fix it within 4 or 5 weeks and get it ready for the season, and I guess that was last year. And I think I basically had a bed frame and a fireplace. Half of it was uninsulated. It was really bad. It was like really, really bad. It was so bad.
It's the kind of place that you probably want to have a whiskey after a big day of skiing. It's just like, it's a little man cave on wheels.
I've grown very attached to the camper and very grateful for it. Taken up a lot of time and energy, but it's also given back a ton. In backcountry skiing right now, there's like this overarching narrative of like full-on like peak, constantly like extreme experiences as being the only way to like interact with nature. And one of the things that I love about the camper is like, it's pretty quiet. You hear every, creak of the trees next to you. You can hear all the birds. You get to know the fox that lives like on the road, right? Like, it's just like a way of still being in nature without the full-on physical output.
What's up, Cracklaws?
Hey, Scott, how's it going?
Oh, just... Sorry, I'm like multitasking, and I just opened up a can of soup to make dinner and realized it was frozen. So that's cool.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna try and stay away from that that wind and that cold as much as we can.
Is that right?
Yeah, I have my sat device, and so does Joe.
Oh,
Yep,
great.
and we'll have a sled with us, and
Nice.
all the basic gear. Yeah, so it should
I mean,
be
my
good.
plan is next time I get in trouble, I'm just gonna call Joe and see.
Like by the time it gets to mid-late winter, it's like once you walk out the door of the camper, like you have a pretty good idea of like what's happening in the mountains, which is awesome. Like I love that. It's really, really nice to have like that intimate a relationship with your surroundings.
As a guide, he is responsible for these folks the entire time. He's got to look at the weather. He's got to look at the abilities of his clients. Obviously, avalanche conditions. What do they want to ski? And he's got to put all that together and try to come up with a place that's going to be safe, where they're also going to have a good time.
It's a wonderful job. It's incredible. One of the former bosses, but one of the few that like I get up and like truly look forward to going to every day, like unless it's raining. It is so weather dependent. When you have bad seasons, like it does start to like really wear on you, where you're like you feel like you're reinventing the wheel every single day. And I know so many of us care so deeply about the experiences that these folks are looking to have, and like really honor that, but you can only do so much, right? Like I can't, like, it sounds dumb to say out loud, but I can't control the weather. So it's like, I think that's a really hard one, is when you're really trying to meet folks' like their expectations, and then you just have to pivot 17 different ways to try and make that happen. And that's a little harder in our terrain. Like, we don't have a lot of like moderate terrain available to us.
There's a bit of uncertainty. We're gonna have to adapt and flex, but there's a difference between adapting and flexing and like pretending like nature's not giving you obvious clues. Does that make sense?
Basically, you care about people and you want them to have a good experience and get home safely, and it's your responsibility to facilitate that experience. Like, by the time you get to May, you're like, all right, I think I'm ready for a nap.
Incredible crew, great weather. Yeah, beautiful sunshine. A little ways to go, but couldn't ask for much more.
When I go skiing with Blake, I think about the fact that it's his free day of skiing. And the more I continue to learn about who he is and how thoughtful he is about everything and how exhausting that must be after a full day of guiding, yeah, I just try to reflect on how that changes my approach to a ski day with him.
There's like environments like being in the mountains and teaching courses, and there's no better script for the way my brain works. It's one of the few places in the world where all of a sudden the chaos that is my brain day in and day out just like quiets down. It's almost like all the pieces of the puzzle just fit together for like 6 to 7 hours. Look, there's a lot of things in life I suck at. Like I can, got a long list. My therapist can add to it. Like, for whatever reason, like I was just able to connect with folks in those spaces and like that type of learning environment. Because you meet just the coolest human beings.
You can tell I don't know really the answer, but I know like I want to make it.
I think everything does feel kind of deep with him. Like, he takes these like little moments throughout the tour to just like both express his stoke and also express how much it means to him. He's out there 6 days a week guiding, teaching avalanche courses, and then he gets a good day and the snow's gonna be good and he calls me up and he's stoked to go skiing.
It provides this like gratitude, right? It's like you link like 2 or 3 good turns, which sounds so ridiculous to say out loud, but you're like 2 or 3 good turns, especially like in some of that steeper terrain, and your day is made. You're like, oh, all right, that was incredible. Like, here we go. And you just, yeah, you get so appreciative of like really small gifts. Really grateful for those people in those places.
Fuck yeah!
Here we go.
Oh! Yeah! Yeah! Nice work, dude!
think you'll continue to guide on the side, or?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love it.
All right, it's 3:30 in the morning. Going to Vermont. We're going to Vermont. Get coffee. We'll probably need gas in the truck.